Hey everyone, this is the first installment in a new series we have planned out. Normally Christian and or Natalie will be here too, but since they have not played this expansion, let alone the game, more or less, Christian's kind of dabbled in it, I will be doing this one alone. This will also have spoilers, but I'll be sure to warn you ahead of time and post a timestamp to skip to the point in the video where the spoilers are done. So that said, grab a drink, get cozy, it's probably going to be a long one. So, first I'd like to talk about the music. Music in any game, movie, or whatever it may be is super important. Now, I know a lot of people play with music off, but if it's your first time in Shadowbringers or this MMO in general, I highly suggest turning it on at least until you've heard the pieces once. The music in Final Fantasy XIV has always been quite good, but this expansion's music in particular is fantastic. You hear the main tune of Shadowbringers a lot, except it's reworked into other pieces, like a Melachony piece, or a super good sounding boss fight. There's also completely different soundtrack pieces, like the area of Ilmag or Raktika, with that lahi that just get completely stuck in your head, or even Calusia, when the sky is still bathed in light and you hear the sad strings of people who have lost hope. When the music itself can tell a story, that's how you know it's a great piece. Still, on the topic of music, I'd like to compare it to World of Warcraft's. I'm not trash-talking WoW at all, I still play the game and enjoy it to an extent. The current expansion's not the greatest. The Argus fight music from Legion was an exceptional piece to listen to, for example. But when I hear the Crystarium's music, be it night or day, in comparison to say Borealis Harbor, I just want to turn off WoW's music, and I do sometimes. You just get into Borealis and it's boomingly loud, while the harbor itself in contrast is completely quiet. It's a catchy tune, don't get me wrong, but it's really unfitting for the area it's in my opinion. While walking in the Crystarium, you can literally have the soundtrack playing over and over while walking around in the city, and it never gets old. On to the next point I'd like to talk about, the characters and their development. I won't spoil anything aside from what you see in the trailer, so no worries here, and when I do get to the point, I'll let you know, like I said at the intro. I'm going to start with the artist himself, Alphinaud. When you meet him at the start of A Realm Reborn, you kinda just want to punch him in his pretty little face. He's annoying, cocky, arrogant, and believes he can do anything. In Shadowbringers, he's the complete opposite. His character really shines here. All those things I just listed, he sees in others and wants to desperately help them change. He's such a good, lovable character now, just to put it simply. I don't have too much to say about his sister, Alice, as she's always kind of been a very caring character, more or less. Just you really see that in this expansion, and some things she says just leaves you teary-eyed. Thancred is definitely in need of help at the start. You meet him and he's just kind of a stick in the mud, but as you go on, you just can't help but to feel for the guy. And then he eventually turns into Dadcred. Without going into spoilers, I'll talk about Minfilia the best I can, or Lilfilia. I adore this character, and I'm not talking about the past one. This one in Shadowbringers is just so well written in my opinion, and there's been so many times where I just want to hug her and tell her it'll be alright. And you kind of do get that opportunity, in a memorable quote from Heavensward that I'm sure a lot of people picked. Next person I'd love to talk about is Urianger. His character in Shadowbringers just shines. The things he says and the way he's able to make you think deeply about everything is just remarkable. Every time I listen to him speak in detail about things, you just see a story in your head.
A sea of shimmering stars. Diamonds strewn across a raven gown. Boundless and beautiful. 'Tis an exquisite sight, not unlike that of the source. Calm and gentle and forgiving.
To put it simply, he's just a great character now. Now we get to everyone's favorite cat girl, Y'shtola. For lack of a better way of putting it, she kinda acts like your mom, more or less. And you even get a comment on that later. It's honestly quite hilarious. But she's very noble and heroic here, a good character, as always. I'm only going to mention a small handful of the new characters, but this is when it'll get into spoiler territory. So please skip ahead to the timestamp if you prefer not to be spoiled, and it's more than likely best you don't read the comments. Let's start with Fail. I honestly didn't like her at first, but that's mostly in due part to her voice. Granted, it grew on me. I just didn't expect that voice for a pixie. I expected something high-pitched like, hee hee hee, hi there! Or, you know, something like that, not, oh, hi there, how you doing? Scottish, dwarvish pixie. The amount of time she gets angry at you for not calling on her help is just darn adorable too. And when you finally do, holy heckin' heck, it's darn adorable. She's honestly like the mother you never wanted but always appreciated when she was there. Oh boy, for this one, Lena. The bun you meet at the start of the expansion. I honestly didn't much care for her either, until about halfway into the story, when she makes you sob with her words.
Completely and utterly fine. Better than fine. Hale and hearty and still alive to mourn those who are not. Who I failed to protect when they needed me most. We've come so far, so goddamn far! I could have sworn the end was in sight, and now... Now they will never see it.
The way the voice actress did that scene is just remarkable. Then you learn about her past and she just became a wonderful character. Now for everyone's favorite Jaguar, Runar, which when looking at the name it almost kind of looks like it spells Jaguar. Huh. Yeah, he's just such a gentle soul. And holy hell, this scene with him and Y'shtola, what a gentle giant.
Master Matoya! Oh, thank the heavens you're alright. I had nearly given up hope.
Please, Renard, dry your tears. What would the others think if they saw you like this?
I'm not going to go into massive detail about these two, but the Chais are just fantastic. I quite enjoyed every scene with them, particularly towards the end. You damn well know Mrs. Chai has Mr. Chai and Alicia in private time too.
People. And how did you come to have so many friends?
Oh, dearest, have you forgotten already? Alfino told us that when we first met.
Actually, that may not have been... never mind.
Alright, let's talk about the more important characters here. I'll start with Ardbert, albeit in little detail. But my god, this man's. From the start, you just feel so bad for him, especially when he can do nothing for anyone but you. Though in the end, that's really the most important part. He can help you, and that alone gives him conviction.
Our worlds. Take it. We fight as one.
Now, for the Exarch, the shady guy that loves his secrets. With a gentle demeanor like his though, and a voice to match, how could you not want to trust him? Then when you get to this part,
Thank you for fighting for this world, for believing. Fare you well, my friend, my inspiration.
you just want to wipe the tears from your eyes and venture off to save him. And here is where I'll bring the end of the spoilers, in a weird spot too. I might add, because I want to talk about Emmett Selk. More than likely everyone's favorite, if not second favorite character of Shadowbringers. The character with so much story and important implications in this expansion, which is exactly why I want to talk about him with everyone, not just those who have played the expansion all the way through. But don't worry, I won't spoil anything regarding him. It's no secret that he's a bad guy. That's very apparent from the past expansion, and the first time you see him. To sum it up, and without spoiling anything, he's just the kind of bad guy where you know you have to do something about him, but at the same time, you just want to give him a big hug and tell him it'll be alright. He's got such a great story, such a great personality, you just want him to be around forever, but you know that's not possible, and that in itself is very, very sad. I'm not going to talk about the story itself, other than just give the reasoning for why you need to do something in this expansion, and stuff that was revealed in the trailer. You know the saying, you can have too much of a good thing? Well, this implies here, heavily, in more than one way too. You're called the Warrior of Light in your world, and you're brought to this other world and called the Warrior of Darkness. Why? You need to bring darkness back to a world consumed with light. For example, if you fill up a balloon with too much air, it'll pop and make a very loud, scary noise. It'll make your dog bark too, don't do it. Same thing applies here, except it impacts your world too, and you. Played Warlords of Draenor, the WoW expansion. It's kind of the same thing, kind of, except it's just done right. I think that brings me to the end of this review. It was kind of a long one, but there was just a lot to talk about, more so in the character department. I'd honestly rate this expansion story better than most RPG stories I've played, and it's only just begun. So in terms of story, I'll give it 5 out of 5 MinnePoints. Being an MMO, it's just a game where the classes change often. A lot of classes change for the better, but a good few didn't. Most of the changes were also just quality of life, which is good, but the gameplay-wise, some jobs suffered. But that's at the time of this recording, as they already have plans to aid the classes that took a hit in the future. So for now, I'll give gameplay a 3 out of 5 MinnePoints, with room for improvement as time goes on. Characters and music both, I already went way into a deep dive about these two. 5 out of 5 on both, no questions asked. So that brings us to the end of the video then. Again, this will be a new review series, just with the others, and more than likely, not just myself. Some may have a camera, some may not, I don't know, just kinda depends I suppose, and we're still feeling things out. If you'd like more Final Fantasy XIV content, just comment below. Feel free to give your own thoughts and ideas, or if you had different opinions about things too. I'd also be more than happy to do a WoW versus Final Fantasy XIV series as well, so just let me know. Make sure to hit the sub button, notification bell, so you can be notified of videos we upload, since, you know, the YouTube algorithm and whatnot. Drop a like too. tell me why you liked it, or if you disliked the video, tell me all the same so I can improve it. That being said, thanks for sticking along for the video. See you around.